When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Aloe or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does online business better than Shopify. It's home of Shop Pay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/income.
AI isn't coming. It's already transforming marketing and business. See how at MACON 2025, October 14th through 16th in Cleveland. Evergreen Podcasts is proud to be the official podcast partner, recording live on site and meeting with more than 1,500 marketing leaders. You'll learn from leaders at Google Cloud, Meta, Snowflake, and HeyGen, sharing what's working and what isn't. Transformation starts here. And with our special code, PODS200, you'll save $200 off your ticket. Join us at the Huntington Convention Center. Register today at macon.ai. That's MAICON.ai.
Hi, I'm Chad. I'm a Gen X grown-up. I support Gen X Grown Up through Patreon, and you can too at patreon.com/GenXGrownUp.
Gen X Grown Up is a YouTube channel, website, and audio podcast you're listening to right now. All made for and by people who love exploring media, games, tech, and toys of yesterday and today through the eyes of Gen Xers who refuse to grow up.
Your dinner cannot just be French fries. Basically, life sucks as a grown up.
Welcome back, Gen X Grown Up podcast listeners, to this episode 199 of the Gen X Grown Up podcast. I'm John. Joining me, as always, of course, my friend George. Hey, man.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Not be a show without Mo. Hey, Mo.
Hey, how's it going?
In this episode, we head to the theater for a new horror movie seen entirely through the eyes of man's best friend, test some tech that helps make you look busy to keep the boss off your back, and play a new video game that puts a delightfully maddening twist on pinball. Those topics and many more coming up in this episode. But first, it is time for some fourth listener email. The three of us may listen, but if anyone else does, and they write in and tell us about it, you are the fourth listener. And this time around, it's Brandon G who dropped us a line. And Mo, it says, the subject line, "Dang you, Mo."
Uh-oh. What'd I do?
Brandon says, "Hey guys, as always, I hope each of you are doing well, but I have to give Mo a bit of a hard time. I love every segment of the show, and I have searched out many things you guys mentioned on the pod, but crime scene cleaner. Damn it, Mo. You mentioned it in one episode, and then George mentioned it in another, begrudgingly."
Yep.
You did. "I fired up my PS5 a few nights ago and searched the store to see if it was there, and it was. So I downloaded it, fell in love with it right away. I thought I'd get bored with it because it might be like Pressure Washer Simulator and other such games, but no.
Yeah.
The game is frustratingly addictive. Usually it's John that leads me into spending money on games, but this time it was you who led me to buying a game. It is so much better than a game of this kind should be." Yep. Finally, he says, "Mo, I blame you jokingly, of course, and I'm actually glad you made us aware of this strange little game. Keep up the good work, guys, and as always, best wishes to each of you, Brandon G." You've infected yet another. There must be a half a dozen people on the Discord server that you've infected, and now Brandon. Of course, George was reluctantly pulled into the
I'm
crime
still pissed.
scene.
Yeah.
He still hasn't forgiven you. So, Brandon, we're sorry, not sorry. We're happy to have Mo helped you find a game that you might otherwise have found. We appreciate that you wrote in, and we love it every time the fourth listener takes time to drop us a line. If you would like your email featured here on the show, it's drop dead easy. Just hit us up at podcast@genxgrownup.com. We'll read every single one or most of them, just like Brandon's. We'll eventually make the show. All right, we're going to jump into the body of episode 199 right after this very quick break.
Purina believes no one should have to make the impossible choice between their own safety and their pets. But nearly half of domestic abuse survivors delay leaving because they can't bring their pets with them. Through the Purple Leash Project, Purina is helping create more pet-friendly domestic violence shelters so survivors and their pets can escape and heal together. Visit Purina.com/purple to learn more.
You're listening to Gen X Grown Up. But if you have a friend who's not yet listening, why not? Tell them about us. They'll thank you later.
TDK technology brings you the amazing music machine. Not only a cassette, but a perfect interplay between recording tape and mechanism. Precision engineered for outstanding musical performance. The amazing music machine, an integral musical component indispensable to the function of a superior sound system. The amazing music machine by TDK. Music is the sum of its parts.
Okay, gents, let's get cooking here at the top of the show, as we always do, talking about media that we have been enjoying since we last spoke. Now, this could be comic books or movies or television or books or whatever you're enjoying. Why don't we start with you, George? What have you been checking out in media?
Yeah, there's a couple of films that I've watched recently that I've been wanting to discuss on the podcast, but I have to choose one because I don't want to be a rule breaker or whatever. Anyway, so I'm going to go with one this time, and then on the next podcast, I'll go with the other one, but I'll probably find 10 other TV shows or movies I want to talk about just as equal. But earlier this year, a new George Clooney, Brad Pitt movie was released, and it kind of went a little under the radar. Okay. I didn't hear a lot of press about it, but it's called Wolves. Yep. Have either of you heard of it or seen it?
I heard of it, have not seen it.
Okay. I heard about it, like Mo, and I think I saw middling reviews. I didn't really read them. I wasn't paying much attention, but I've heard of it. So now I'll hear the authority. What's it like?
Yeah, well, so I get middling reviews because it's not an Ocean's film, but those two actors have great chemistry on screen. There's no question about that and everything we've seen them do. This movie takes the idea that George Clooney is the greatest cleaner, so crime scene cleaner, not unlike the video game we were just talking about.
No wonder George loved it, right?
Yeah. He's the best crime scene cleaner that you can get. So if you have like a crime that you need covered up, you've killed somebody or something, you make a phone call, he calls you back, and then he shows up very mysteriously, very calmly, and he does his thing, and it's all the evidence, and everything has disappeared, and you're good. Well, one of the lines that he uses is something similar to, I'm the guy, like I'm the only one. And while he's at this hotel room where a young man has been killed and a very powerful, rich executive lady who was getting herself a boy toy that evening, George Clooney and her are having the conversation in the hotel room, and then there's another knock at the door. And it's Brad Pitt, and he's dressed almost exactly like George Clooney, and he walks in saying almost exactly the same things. And you're like, what's going on here? Well, it turns out the hotel is run also by a very powerful person, and they have cameras in this executive suite. And so the owner of the hotel sent Brad Pitt because the owner wants their interests protected as well.
Oh, he's another cleaner. He's another one of them.
Yes.
Oh, so now they're both at the same job.
They're both at the same job, and one of their rules is that they always work alone. Well, now they're forced to work together because of both of these interested parties want their person involved in this cleanup. Goes horribly awry, as you might imagine, because it turns out the young man's not dead at all. He's actually just unconscious and wakes up in their trunk, and hilarity ensues throughout the rest of the movie. But it's a fun diversion of a film. So I think of this movie as like if you're in a situation where, you're a lot of stress that day or a lot of heavy things weighing you down, this is a movie that has a dark humor sense to it, but is light in spite of that.
I was about to say, and before I caught myself, I was make a Pulp Fiction reference. Oh, you call him the wolf? I'm like, wait a minute, wolves. I just made the connection. Is that just a generic name for a cleaner that I didn't know? Like shrink is real, like like a thing. Or is that just they use that reference? I don't know. That was clever.
Yeah, I think it's an homage for sure. I don't know if it's an industry term. It doesn't seem like it would be, but
I haven't had much need to call one, so I'm not sure.
I'm just like, what would wolves have to do with cleaning up crime scenes? I'm like, do they eat a lot of flesh or something out in the wild? And maybe that's why I don't know. But it's a fun movie. It definitely could have a sequel, but it's one of those that doesn't need one, and I prefer it kind of not to have one, truthfully. Like I said, I was torn between it and another movie that I'll try and talk about the next time, but I think this one is probably since it's out of the theaters, it's a definite watch if you're looking for some lighthearted fare that you probably don't even realize has already come out.
Okay, cool.
I was kind of like, because I heard middling reviews, I'm like, I'm not even going to go back and look. But now everything you said maybe sounds like it's something I'd want to see. So
yeah, sounds interesting.
It's fun. It's got a sense of humor, which I like. So what about you, John? I think your thing kind of also goes to dogs and crimes and
oddly, kind of, yeah. You may have heard about it as a new film. It's an indie film, I guess pretty indie, I guess got some distribution, called Good Boy.
Oh yeah,
and this is the horror movie seen entirely through the eyes of a dog. So the premise is interesting because how many creepy movies or horror movies or anything have you seen, or even just detective movies where everything's going fine and the dog goes and stares at nothing and you're like, what is it, boy? What is it? And then they ignore the dog and they do whatever. This takes that idea that dogs are super sensitive to things that maybe are outside of the spectrum of what we can see and hear and detect, and just let the dog walk through the movie and figure out figure out is a stretch, but experience the horror movie that otherwise people would experience. So that's the film. It's called Good Boy. I was eager to go see it. I did go and see it. Here's what I'll say. Remember your AMC scale we used to talk about a lot, George, about you just go see for AMC or wait for streaming or skip it or whatever. This is a movie you ought to see, but maybe like the Wolves movie. It's a rainy day and you have other things to do and you want to watch an interesting film, but it's not going to change your life. And here's, as cool as it is, the dog's name, by the way, is Indy. We named the dog Indiana, right? So the dog's name is Indy. Actually, the dog's real name, he's the director's dog. This guy, Ben Leonberg, it's his dog. In fact, the end of the movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the reason I say just wait and see it on streaming is because if you took the dog out of it, it's the most banal, vanilla, pedestrian, average haunted house movie you've ever seen.
Okay.
It's nothing like it was people in it. I would say don't go see it, right? Because the story is pretty predictable. It's not that scary even. It's having the dog is what makes the movie worth seeing. And it reminds me of, they shot it almost like Muppet Babies. You know how there were adults in Muppet Babies, but you kind of never saw their faces or they were obscured. You saw their feet and that was it, right? That's how humans are in this movie. So they're there really just for exposition. Like when the dog is in the room and somebody's on the phone, because you're not going to explain to the dog what's going on. He's explaining on the phone what's happening. And so the dog hears all this and the audience hear it. And then the dog is probably not putting two and two together, but is learning what's happening in the world. And when ghosts or entities or something happen or whatever, the only thing that makes this movie really, really stand out, a way I say you should see it, is because of how cleverly it was shot and what it's like to see a movie like this through the eyes of a dog, knowing that no one's really ever done this before. It's kind of, it's groundbreaking. And I don't know if they ever need to do it again because it's kind of been done now. They said it took over 400 days to shoot. They shot it hour and a half here, hour and a half there. When the dog was tired, they would stop, move on. Over 3 years they did this. But it's an interesting achievement, but not going to be the next big horror thing.
So is it like literally from the dog perspective, like you're down at the ground level, dog eye level, looking at things? No. It's not like first person dog. It's shot. Take a regular horror movie and drop the camera about 3 foot. So instead of looking down at the dog, you're kind of looking over the shoulder of the dog a lot of the time. Gotcha.
That's not the only shot, but that's the most common shot, is kind of his perspective is what it is. And you see the dog all the time, right? So it's not like, a camera running around all the time. It's actually, you see the dog acting and reacting and stuff. So
not doggy vision, but doggy, like third person.
Yeah. Sounds like doggy third person.
Yep, doggy third person. So do see it. Just don't spend money to see it. Wait and see it when it's out already. And you're going to, your public domain it anyway, George, to check it out. I know you like horror movies.
There you
go. Good Boy.
Right, cool.
Watch it. Just don't go to the theater to see it. Mo, how about you? What do you got?
So this is a odd movie. I found it in an article. I think it was in New York Times, talking about like some of the best underrated science fiction movies out there. And it's one called Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes. And the thing that caught me, which, John, your ears are going to perk up as soon as I say this, is it involves time travel.
Oh, okay. I'm in. And
it's a little comedy. It's a little independent movie, again, like we talked about here. Mm-hmm. It has like a 97% Rotten Tomato score. It is like ridiculously high. And the basic premise is there's like a cafe, and the owner has like a monitor. He lives above the cafe, and he has like a monitor that he can look into the store and see what's going on. So he's up there. You see him like, and it's done like one of these one shot kind of deals where everything's like, you know, it kind of gives you that feel for it. So they follow him up, and he looks at his screens like in the background, and all of a sudden his face is on the screen saying, hey, yeah, look over here. He's like, what? And he's basically explaining that, hey, for some reason, this screen shows you 2 minutes in the future downstairs.
Oh,
only 2 minutes though.
Interesting.
And so the guy's like, what do you mean? He's like, you're looking for something, right? He's like, yeah, you're looking for your guitar pick. It's under the carpet. And he looks at the carpet, and there's a good carpet. And so finally the guy's like, oh, wait. And so he looks at his watch like, oh, wait. You got to leave the room. Come down here and explain this to yourself. And it's definitely doesn't take itself seriously. It is a comedy. And so like some of his friends get involved and it's a two-way thing. Like it's like for some reason these screens you could talk to each other like a two-way video call kind of deal.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah.
For some reason, like they don't explain why, they just say it happens.
Reasons.
And he goes down there, and of course his friends are like having a good time and like and they're like, oh, too bad it's only 2 minutes. You know, that's doesn't really like change anything. And the guy's like, what if we bring the other monitor down here and face into each other?
Like looping?
And so they do, and I'll leave it at that because you got to see what happens when they do that. And,
wow.
It's a super, super clever, very funny movie that takes that whole time travel thing and just puts like a little weird edge on it, because it's like you can't really do much significance with only 2 minutes, but they managed to get in trouble, of course, and you have to watch it. It was really funny, and it's short. It's like an hour and a half, so it's pretty short, so it's definitely worth the time.
All right, well, that's the end of the show. We got to go watch this movie right now. Mo, is there when did this come out? And is there anybody in it that we would know, or is it
nobody? It came out during 2020. I think they filmed it during the pandemic.
That would make sense.
Right? And so they had a cafe was empty for 7 days, so they were able to film in there,
right?
Because they weren't open. It was definitely a low budget indie kind of thing, you know, with a weird little storyline behind it. And again, like I said, New York Times said like, oh, this is a must watch, and I watched it. I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I watched that. It was weird. Yeah, and the ending is weird too, but it's like you said, when they start facing the two things towards each other, it's just hilarious. Like, I mean, you literally see like 6 versions of the same person
I can imagine.
to each other at different times, going all the way to and how they coordinated too was really clever. So it's definitely worth watching. It's called Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes.
Yeah, that's a definite for me. Be right back.
The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for the stay.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Be sure to subscribe to or follow Gen X Grown Up wherever you listen. And while you're there, rate and review the show too. It helps more than you know.
Dunkin' Donuts, you can't find me in a grocery store. Dunkin' Donuts, you can't find me in a bakery. Dunkin' Donuts, they're not for sale in a restaurant. You have to get them at Dunkin' Donuts. It's worth the trip.
All right, let's jump into tech and toys with something that looks not exciting, really. But John, what is this?
All right, mister, I bought a robotic ink pen or whatever crazy stuff you normally do to me. y'all made fun of my bidet. You made fun of my stickers for my oven. And anyway.
Still making fun of some of that. But
well, that hasn't stopped. Yeah. But, I like to share things that are kind of mundane, but they improve my quality of life and get rid of pet peeves that I've got. And one of my many pet peeves, and I've tried many solutions for, I cannot stand when the fitted sheet comes untucked from my bed or the regular sheet comes untucked from my bed and my feet are hanging out and I got to be covered up. I got to feel like a little cocoon. So I've tried safety pins in the bed to hold it onto the mattress and things like that. I had these straps, or used to have these straps around the bed that have these clips that twist. Everything, for one reason or the other, doesn't work. And so I have moved on to a new thing that I oddly saw like in a TikTok or Facebook short reel or something spool by. And whenever I see that, I go looking for it on Amazon. And so I found the design of it. It's a little hard to describe maybe in the podcast. So definitely look at the link in the description if you're at all interested. These are called bed sheet lock strips. And what they provide is they kind of make the corners of your mattress rigid with grooves in them that you can then put these friction locks in. So you put the sheets down over top, put these friction locks in. Okay. And it's like a good square knot or something, right? The more you pull against it, the tighter it gets. So rather than when you pull against it, it's going to wiggle itself loose, it actually uses the fact that, I roll around 20 times at night on the left side, right side, back, on my stomach or whatever. That's what's causing it. But the more friction you put on it, the more it holds tight on the sheets that are around the bed. And plus, I have one of those cool bed fans that it relies on the sheets being tight on the mattress to blow cool air up under the sheets. Without that air just blows off into the distance and it doesn't work. So when I tried these bed sheet lock strip things, I said, well, everything else has failed. I got to try one. So far, easy to install. Well, if you can pick up your mattress, which you have to do on the corners, well, not too bad for me. They have not, in about 4 days now, I've been using them. The sheets have stayed exactly where they were when I put them in. Now, I don't know if they're going to loosen over time or anything like that, but if you find the sheets that come untucked a pain in the ass and haven't found a solution, this might be a good place to start because so far it's the best one I've found.
So I'll clear it up for those of you who tried to understand that description to say,
good.
From woodworking, these are corner clamps. That's all these are. They're just corner clamps like you use for putting together boxes or picture frames or anything like that. They're just designed for the bed with a little thin strip instead of the whole clamp on the outside part.
Oh, there you go. What George said on my bed corners. There we go. My description, George's much better. Pictures, 1,000 words. Check the link if you're interested. You're right, Mo. It's not that exciting and riveting.
That's right.
But I'm going to throw it to you. It's now your responsibility to be exciting.
Oh, geez. Okay. So I recently started a new job and they have the most ridiculous password requirements. It's like one of those must be, 18 characters and, must be special characters and upper lowercase and numbers, and you can't repeat characters at all. Blah, blah, blah. I'm
Three hieroglyphs.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, but no periods or some weird little one caveat that just totally screws you up. And the other thing is that the way they have it set up with the company stuff is that it signs you off. Like if you're away from your laptop for like a minute, it signs you off.
Security.
And so I kept forgetting my password, typing it in. And it was just annoying as hell. So I decided to go looking for, and I knew these existed, something that could basically just keep my mouse moving so it didn't sign me off.
Oh, yeah. Okay. A wiggler.
So I went and found one. It's called the Vaydeer, and it says undetectable. It's mouse mover. And what it does is basically it's like a little platform, a very small platform that you sit your mouse on. The center of it is a circle that rotates. So your mouse sits on it. The center rotates. Your mouse has a little bit of room. It can move back and forth a little bit. But basically, it sees the rotating thing underneath as the tabletop moving, as your desktop moving. So it moves your mouse for you.
Okay.
And it's a little bit random. Like it's not just a straight line back and forth. It like kind of like curves up. And then when it comes the other way, it kind of curves around. So your mouse actually travels like pretty much everywhere over the screen. And then when you use your mouse, you just take it off that thing and just use like a regular mouse. It works extremely well. If they gauging by my hours, that I probably been working the last 48 hours nonstop, but it does work, and it saved me the hassle of having to type in that password, which was the real reason I got it.
Yep.
So first of all, I will say welcome to the world of security, because I've been having to deal with this shit for the last 13 years at the state data center with crazy security levels, CGIS and FBI and everything else that I have to deal with. Well, second of all, this type of device, you bought the War Games version is what I'm going to say. If you guys remember War Games, when you had that modem that he put his phone down on, you bought the War Games version. I needed to get something like this for my wife for the exact same type of reason you did, because at her work, if her screensaver comes on, she's locked. Yeah. And at first, it was very difficult for her to retype in her password because of all the stroke issues and everything. So it was a lot better just for her screensaver never to come on. Now, if she was in the office, that would be a big no-no. But here at home, nobody cares, right? So the kind that we got for her is a simple little USB dongle. And it has a little button on it where you can turn it on or off. But it's just a USB dongle. Does the exact same thing that yours does as the big physical device.
Ah, okay.
So these have been around for quite a while.
Oh yeah, I figure. I mean, I saw it on the paper. Was it the guy who made one of those?
Yeah, they have one on there. Yep.
So that's what as I saw that, it's like, hey, I remember hearing about these things, and I knew there was actually some software ones that, but I'm like, okay, I don't want to install anything on this computer. So this seemed like the least intrusive. That I don't mess with the company equipment at all. I just sit my mouse on it and I'm done.
So do you think if your employer heard this podcast, would they be happy that you bought this? Or do you think, I mean, it is a security issue. I agree that probably what they have is aggressive for security. Very aggressive. But I mean, some companies have a policy, like literally stating you can't use something like this. Do you think your folks would care working at home?
They might.
They might, yeah.
But the thing is, it's like literally, it was actually even more ridiculous because when I first got the computer, I had to sign on, and it said the first thing to do is change your password.
Sure.
And you know how they tell you, must be this many characters. You must have, I'm like, okay. So I typed in this long ass password and it kept rejecting it. And so I called their help desk and the help desk said, oh yeah, they changed requirements. I'm like, well, what are they? Yeah. We're like, we don't know yet. So they're like, just keep adding stuff to it until it accepts it. So
they have their own problems.
Add another exclamation point. Nope. Add more lowercase numbers. Nope. And so finally I got it. So I don't even know what the requirements are. So it was crazy, but it was, like I said, really my real purpose was like, even if I sit up and go to the bathroom, come back, I'm signed off. I'm like, get a glass of water. I'm signed off. And I'm like, what was that freaking password again? The guy literally told me, write it on a sticky note and put it on your computer. I'm like, okay, that is even worse. I
advised you to do that.
Because I told him, I said, there's no way I'm going to remember this thing.
No,
like,
no. That's the big alarm signal in every know before video you'll ever watch. Don't write your password down on a sticky note.
And again, if I was in the office, it would be a different situation, but I'm home. No one's going to be, no one's doing a spy thing through Windows to try to figure out what I'm doing on my laptop. So I'm not that worried about it. So that's what I got. How about you, George? What do you have for us today?
Mine is just as equally trivial and non-exciting as the others that we've done so far in this segment. So I'm towing the company line. I just bought a new pair of in-ear earbuds for the trip that John and I are going to be taking next week as we're recording this. So actually, John and I will both be flying when you're listening to this. If you listen to it on download day.
That's right. That is releases on the day.
I picked up a new pair because Amazon just had that big deal day thing that kind of came Amazon, a little bit out of nowhere.
Yep.
Yeah, it was like a Prime Day. I think I bought probably 15 different items during that sale.
Oh, really? Wow.
And now I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have, because all the stuff, like I see it now that the sale is off and it's only like $2 or $3 more. So I'm like, there really was no urgency. But I needed this for the trip because I hate when you're on the airplane and you've got the noise of the cabin itself, which always kind of gives me a little bit of a headache.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're in an uncomfortable seat usually, unless you're rich, which I am not. And then you've got people around you that are doing their own thing, and they're not trying to be mean or obtrusive. But if one person starts talking, then somebody else has to talk a little bit louder, and then another person a little bit louder. And then before you know it, it's kind of loud. So I got JBL Tune Buds. These are in-ear little earbuds that do have noise cancellation. So John, years ago, before COVID, you had demonstrated the Sony over-the-ear noise cancellation headphones that were brand new at the time, brand new technology. And I was amazed. And I had never found anything since then that replicated that experience for a reasonable price, because those Sony headphones at the time were not reasonably priced.
No, they were $100.
They were John level only priced. They were
well, no, not.
But these little JBL Tune Buds work just like those Sony over-the-ear headphones do, for me, at least from my experience and what I remember. They have an app that accompanies them on your phone, and you can even set the different types of noise cancellation, so you can hear stuff around you, or you can barely hear stuff around you, or you can just cancel it all the way out.
That's cool.
You can set different levels, and you can increase the bass or blah, 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 this. The Bluetooth, the one thing I always look for on that with any kind of earbuds is how in sync is the audio to a video that I might be watching. These are perfectly synced. I have had no problems testing it on Plex and Netflix and Amazon Prime. So I'm a big fan of these, and they only cost me like $40, I think. And
wow.
Yeah, I think right now they're probably a little bit more expensive. Yeah, they're $45. So that's what I meant by like, it was just a few dollars of savings. They say the list price on them is $99. So we're saving you 50 blah, blah, blah %. That's bullshit. They're always at 45 or something like that. So good earbuds. If you're looking for a pair, you don't want maybe the super cheap $20 Tozos that I usually go with, but you want something a little bit more elevated, but not Dr. Dre Beats or, you know, whatever, the Apple earbuds or any of that shit, Samsung. Under $50. These are really good earbuds.
Nice. What about comfort and sticking in your ears well? And have you run around the house with them or anything?
For me, the medium ear tips work great. They come with 3 sizes, small, medium, large. So I would think most people would be able to find something comfortable. I checked, I shook my head really hard. They never flew out of my head.
Okay, there you go.
But they also don't feel like they're pressing on my inner ear wall.
Right. Oh, nice.
So,
good.
Yeah. Solid system. I don't think they're anything spectacular, but just JBL, a known quality brand for sound, for under $50 and noise cancellation. I'm happy.
Seems pretty good.
That's economical quality for what you wanted. What more could you ask?
Did you think our story was over?
Mr. Grabber.
This Friday,
you're dead.
Dead is just a word.
Critics are saying Ethan Hawke is pure nightmare fuel.
Oh, Finny.
Discover the secret behind the mask.
What do you think happens when you die? It's time to find out.
Black Phone 2, only in theaters Friday. Rated R, under 17, not admitted without parent.
This episode is brought to you by Battlefield 6. Battlefield 6 is the ultimate all-out warfare experience. Rip through the skies in aerial dogfights. Demolish your surroundings for a strategic advantage. Harness complete control over every action and movement using the kinesthetic combat system. Drop into multiplayer with your squad, or fight furiously as a member of the Dagger 1-3 squad in a gritty, adrenaline-fueled single-player campaign where you'll defend a world on the edge of collapse.
Each episode of Gen X Grown Up has show notes loaded with links where you can learn more about our topics. And there's even more to see and hear over at GenXGrownUp.com.
My mom used to say, Billie Jean, don't forget your vitamins. Back then I thought all multivitamins were the same. But today I take TheraGran-M. It has more of 6 essential vitamins, and it's balanced, so I'm sure to get most of the vitamins I need. It's the multivitamin most recommended by doctors. Mom takes TheraGran-M too. Don't forget your vitamins, Mom.
High-potency TheraGran-M with minerals from squid.
Because you can never do enough for yourself.
This is the main event of the podcast. For the 3 in attendance locally and the millions listening around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time!
All right, gents, time to talk about games. We've all 3 got something in here. I'm not going to count Moe's, though, because it's another goddamn cleaning game and I don't want to play. But before we get to that, let's talk about John's kind of like a... I saw the live stream on this. It looked to me like it was Russian roulette, but with medicine.
There we go. We can move on to Mo. Really, you've really covered it. Yeah. So this is a game that's currently in early. pre-release, early release. It hasn't been fully released. It's a beta, whatever, but you can go and download it and play it right now on Steam. And it's a fully formed, playable game that's enjoyable already before they add the most important part that's coming. It's called Side Effects. And if you've never heard of it at all, it's like Russian roulette, but with pills. Oh, wait, you might have heard that recently. But yes. It really, so years ago, my daughter turned me on to this game called Buckshot Roulette, which was literally Russian roulette. You sit across from first person, you're sitting across the table from this other weird looking guy, picking up shells off the table that may or may not be loaded, right? You put them in your gun and you shoot him or you shoot yourself. You decide.
Okay.
You can get these elements that can either test the shell by weighing it and seeing, or swap an item with somebody else, or force somebody else to do that. So I think it's the same company. I'm pretty sure. I was trying to verify, but they look so similar. This one's called Side Effects, and it's that game, but it really opens up the world of what could happen to you because they're pills, not just getting shot in the head or not, right? So you're a patient who's locked to this table, and this machine will come out and drop a set number of pills. And you have an X number of lives, an X number of resistance. So it's like shields. If your resistance goes down, you will lose a life. Some pills will just kill you. But the twist is that they might drop 4 of them. And they go, here are the red and white pills. 3 of them drop your resistance by 1. 1 of them will kill you instantly. Which one would you like to take? And then they start adding elements like things you can use to attack other people. And it's super creepy. Like there's one that's an eye extractor. And if you choose to use it, this item, you put it on yourself, it sucks one of your eyes out of your socket, the other guy eats it and is forced to eat it, and it drops his resistance by 1. There's another one that looks like a pair of pliers, and you can use it to pull out one of your opponent's teeth that lowers his resistance by 1. Or maybe I will swap between them. So throughout the game, you're just trying to outsmart the other guy. They'll start dropping pills that have positive benefits, like this one will increase your resistance, but one of them will kill you. Or some of these it's just a variety of things, effects that they can have. It's already fun. Oh, and as you're playing, the models for the characters, they get like their veins start turning green and pustules form on your arms out in front of you as you're getting more and more infected with stuff. Right now, you can play against the computer. However, when it releases, their goal is to be able to play up to 4 people around a table. So imagine you could pick who has to take a pill or who you can affect or what you can do. It's a creepy game. I picked it because it was kind of a spooky season. It was Halloween. I'm like, this is an interesting thing to live stream. Yeah. It was really fun. I had so much fun with it. I'm eager to find out when they don't have a release date yet. They have a Discord I joined, and when we get it, we've got to do a 3-player live stream with this game because it's just that kind of nutty. I'm game. You try to outsmart each other and figure out what's going. So brace yourself, guys. We're planning on having a Side Effects live stream when we can. It's the kind of thing that's going to make us yell at each other, which is wildly entertaining for viewers. I know. So. Side Effects. And Mo, I'll give you the link to that live stream. Please throw that in the show notes so folks can go and take a look at the game. It's pretty cool. What about you, Mo? What have you been playing? George alluded that it's more cleaning crap. What do you got? Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to find something to scratch that crime scene cleaner bug because, and there's a bunch of. It's actually surprised me how many of this style game there are out there. And I tried a couple of demos, and most of them are actually pretty boring and pretty silly. And then I ran this one. It's called Cash Cleaner Simulator. So you basically launder money for Underworld. Except, the thing is, though, is that sometimes money comes in dirty, so you actually do have to clean it. Basically, as you start, you get every time you complete like an order. Like someone says, I need a $5,000 in 20s and stuff like that. Whenever you complete an order, you get money back for that, and then eventually you can buy like updated equipment. So you get things like a money counter or a thing that you put cash in that it'll go through and look for anything that has like a marked bills, basically, like by police or something like that. And they eventually work up to getting these like giant machine counters that like you can put 3 different types of currency that you want, throw just a whole pile of cash in it, and then if everything it finds that's counterfeit, it chucks out the side. And then you eventually get to a point where you could get like
oh, here's a detergent that I could clean off the marked bills, so I could use them. And it goes on and on. And there is a story actually behind it that, you know, you're doing it, you can't remember why, and as you go in, like the room like expands, it gets bigger, like literally like a wall like catches on fire and then goes away, but you have this whole other area now to go into to work in. It's one of these games now. It's not as good as Crime Scene Cleaner. It's definitely not. But whenever I do play it, you could blow an hour and not even realize it. I don't know why. And it's not as engaging as the other one, but for some reason, like it's that whole like got to do the next thing that kind of pushes you a little bit, you know. And it gives you that definite thing like, oh, I got to fill this order, and so you do that. Next thing you know, you're like, oh, I spent an hour, you know, doing this stuff.
So are the mechanics similar? So I played your Crime Scene Cleaner. Remember, I luckily I was immune to its charms, unlike so many other people. But how would you compare the mechanics? Is it also like a first-person game? Is it also like running the same? It looks like it's a similar engine, though. Kind of like
it looks very similar. You don't, it looks very similar. You know, you do have some handheld tools, but you don't really use them that often, quite honestly.
Oh, okay. It's more of the machines, more on your tables. Yeah,
it's more like machines. So you are picking up piles of cash. And eventually you get to a point where you could get like a cart that you could throw piles of cash in and wheel it over and, and use that instead. And then eventually it even works to like different currencies. So then it's like, oh, someone's throwing euros at you now and they want euro. Then someone says, oh, I want yen. And they throw, you also you have piles of yen that you're working with. It's interesting. It's not as good as Crime Scene Cleaner by any stretch.
I don't know why. It almost feels more attractive to me because of like the money counting thing is kind of interesting, but there's the machine thing.
Anyway, and the money counter, and it's funny because you wind up setting up like this whole kind of a symbol. Okay, take the money here first. Well, do I have to wash it? Because people request like, okay, I only want clean, dry bills, and eventually someone says, hey, I need marked bills for some reason, or I need counterfeit bills. So you kind of keep those aside just for those kind of weird orders that come in. Yep. So it's interesting. It's not an expensive game. I think it was like $14 or something like that. It wasn't terribly expensive. It doesn't quite scratch that itch, but it is something that if you want to blow like an hour just to knock something out, it's a good game for that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So if anyone plays it and gets addicted,
it's Mo's fault.
It's fine. It's my fault. I'll take it. So how about you, George? What do you got for us?
Yeah, so I've got a game that has probably the most accurate title of any game that I've seen in a little while. The title is A Pinball Game That Makes You Mad.
Okay, that's the title of the game? That's the actual title.
It's pretty straightforward.
And that's the actual title, and it does exactly that. It's a pinball game that makes you mad. So in that... It's a pinball game. Boy, it's tough to describe. So it's more, imagine if Douglas Adams decided to create his own pinball game.
Okay.
Instead of it being on a standard pinball table with a standard, play field and ramps and bumpers and all that kind of stuff, it's literally this cosmic looking flowing place. And you actually are inside the pinball. Your character. Now, you are put inside the pinball, but you're not looking from inside the pinball's point of view. You're looking at it more from like a third-person isometric point of view.
Like a monkey ball thing. Like your monkey's in the ball and you can see the play field?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are very few controls in the game. Your left mouse button controls all the flippers at the same time.
Okay.
And the object is apparently to just keep climbing up into this void of space that you can't see because you can only see a zoomed in section of the game at one time. Some flippers are small, some flippers are big, some move you to the left, some move you to the right. The only other real controls that I can see that you have on the game, you have a way to speed up or slow down the gameplay itself, and you have a way to shake the table like you would with a real pinball machine, left or right, but there's no real table. It's almost like you're floating in space around these things, and there's like little cows floating off and little toasters and everything. And there's even a goddamn British guy who does voiceover work and taunts you throughout the entire thing. And it's all gravity based as well. So those games where you're trying to climb up a mountain and you have to manipulate your arms or hands, and if you don't do it exactly the right way, you fall all the way back down. That's what this fucking pinball game is. So I spent 15 minutes with the demo and immediately loved it and was mad as hell at the same time. So much so that I decided I need to stop or I'm never going to play the game again. So I went to the menu, and just like the name is the most appropriate name for a video game ever, the quit button is the most appropriate quit button I've ever seen in a game. It doesn't say exit. It doesn't say main menu. It doesn't say desktop. It doesn't even say quit. It says rage quit. And it does exactly that. It shuts the game down instantly. Now, when you come back, you're right where you were, and the little guy is taunting you from some, behind the curtain Oz kind of place. And he's saying things like, oh, that's an interesting new strategy. Fall all the way back down to where you started. Shit like that. It just pisses you off.
So what you're telling me is this game is true to its name, and it literally made you mad.
Yes.
And you're happy about that.
And I'm still playing it. It's one of these games where you can pick up and try to improve upon where you're at for 10 or 15 minutes and then quit. So
Rage quit.
It fits right within my game playing style. I'm over 50 now. I can't play a game for 4 hours at a stretch. I just don't have that in me anymore. I can play games for 10 to 30 minutes at the most, and then I've got to stop. The only game that went outside that mold was Moe's fucking crime scene cleaning game, where it's like, God damn it, I got more blood to clean. But this one, it's just so frustrating.
Okay, so on the frustration level, to me, the most frustrating game I could remember that one with the motorcycle? Like you have to it's like
Trials.
a dirt bike.
Trials HD.
Trials. How's it rate against Trials as far as frustration?
Trials is a walk in the fucking park.
Okay.
Good to know.
I have played this game. I'd have to go look on my Steam account. I'm going to guess I've played it for at least, you know what? I'm not even going to guess. Let me just go look.
Okay.
Where is a pinball game that makes you mad? I have played this game for a total of 43 minutes so far with 5-minute increments. So that gives you an idea of how many times I've gone back.
Yeah. Okay.
It's fun. It's maddening. It's crazy. I have gotten past this little elevator level section 3 times. But when you go up to the next level and you find a resting point on a flipper, when you press that flipper, it shoots you across the screen and there's a flipper in the middle. And if you don't time that flipper, you're all the way back down at the beginning of that fucking level.
And rage quit.
Yeah. And rage quit.
And then the little British guy comes on and makes fun of you again.
Okay.
All right. Sounds like 3 winners. And a couple of them are just demos, but they all have potential to make you mad. Maybe George is the winner of the 3 of them, though. So.
Wish you could become a morning person? You know the type, up before the sun, early morning runs, first one to the office with donuts and a smile. How do they do it? Easy. With the new Galaxy Watch 8, sleep tracking and personalized insights from Samsung Health help you improve so you can wake up to a whole new you. One who, dare I say it, skips the snooze? It's possible. Train your sleep with Galaxy Watch 8. Learn more at Samsung.com. Requires compatible Samsung Galaxy phone, Samsung Health app, and Samsung account.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
If you're a die-hard Gen X grown-up, you can pledge your support by clicking join on YouTube or by becoming a patron at GenXGrownUp.com/Patreon.
When there's nothing but mud where the road used to be, and you feel like your car is working overtime, it's nice to have this gas-saving Toyota pulling for you. Introducing the 1981 front-wheel drive Toyota Corolla Tercel. The Toyota Tercel, a car that pulls its own weight. And a little bit more.
Tercel!
As we come into the last segment of the show, we always like to take a few moments here to talk about the things we're looking at and looking forward to between now and the next time we get to speak. And I want to start with you, Mo. I want to know what you have on the horizon.
Oh, sure. There's a remake of Frankenstein that's coming out the 17th. I saw the trailer for it, and it looks super interesting.
Yep.
It looks very modernish, but I mean, it's still set in the same time period and stuff. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to a game called Vampire Bloodlines 2. I don't know if you know, but there's a role-playing game I used to play called Vampire the Masquerade, and they came out with some really not awesome computer games for it. This one has it's like 3 years late, I think, at this point. I mean, and I'm not joking. I think if I'm exaggerating, it's only slightly. It had this release date, then it got pushed back. So finally they have a drop dead. It's coming out the 21st of October. So I'm gonna probably hold off on buying it until I kind of see if it works and how many bugs it has. But I'm looking forward to that. What I'm really looking forward to is something I didn't know was coming, which is One Punch Man Season 3. Now, if you guys watch anime at all, One Punch Man, he was almost he almost got a little most of a cult status in the anime world. But basically, it's a superhero who trains and is so good that he can defeat anything with one punch. So he's depressed because there's no challenge in the world anymore.
Oh,
and the whole thing is him like, oh, it's another villain. He's like, oh, this is the guy who's going to give me a good fight. And he hits him once, destroys him. He's like, oh, well, and he kind of walks off. Even it makes fun of too, like a lot of the other genres within anime and stuff. But it was super interesting. It was a series. The second season had to have ended. It had to be at least 4 years ago, I think, or 3 or 4 years. It's been a while. So I didn't know they're coming out the third season, and it turns out they're coming out in October 12th. So looking forward to that.
Oh, all right.
So how about you, John?
Yeah. So there's a film based on a true crime that I knew about called Roof Man that is coming out. So real briefly, is this guy that was a criminal, but he was a really, really nice guy. Like he locked people in the freezer, but if they didn't have a jacket, he gave him his jacket so he wouldn't get too cold in the freezer. And he got the name Roof Man because he went to these fast food stores and he figured out how to get in through the roof because it was just sheetrock up there and it's easy to get in and punch down with a ladder. But now there's a major motion picture coming out starring Channing Tatum and Kirsten Dunst, of all people.
Okay.
I'm really looking forward to that. It actually is out by the time you listen to this episode. It came out last weekend on the 10th, so I'm eager to see that. Your Frankenstein you mentioned, Mo, is on Netflix October 17th. Yeah, it also looks like something I'm really interested in. It's a very modern Gothic take on it, so excited for that. And as George mentioned, we have a trip coming up. As you're hearing this and releasing, we are on our way to Portland, Oregon for the Portland Retro Gaming Expo 2025. It's the first time I've ever been to this show. Either of us have. And I know it's one of the biggest and best shows, and people say it's a great one to go to. I just have never, it's the West Coast. It's tough to get to, but we're going thanks to our friends at Allen One who make those cool recharge cabinets. So we'll give some coverage from there on our YouTube channel, of course, so keep an eye out for that. George, what about you? What do you have coming up on the horizon?
Well, I've changed my looking forward to list while you guys were talking about 3 different times, just because there's so much right now that I'm interested in. So first up, my first new pick that I've switched to is Black Phone 2, which is the sequel to the original Black Phone movie with Ethan Hawke. It's coming out on October 17th. Looking forward to that just because I really enjoyed that first movie quite a bit. On October 17th as well, there's a movie that's going to star Lawrence Fishburne and Kate Mara called The Astronaut. Looks to be like a sci-fi horror where an astronaut is found in deep space in a capsule. So, but it doesn't look like it's futuristic too much. So kind of interested to see how that goes. Lawrence Fishburne had one really fun horror sci-fi film already. It'll be interesting to see if he has another one now after this. But the thing I'm most looking forward to that I've completely forgot until I was looking through stuff on releases.com. Chainsaw Man the movie comes out on October 24th.
Really?
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So this it's the Reze arc. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I never pronounce stuff right, so it doesn't matter anyway. but the beloved anime that I and my son fell in love with, a little over a year and a half ago, I guess. It's back as a movie. I don't know if they'll then break up the movie into episodes and release it that way. But boy, I'm really looking forward to it for sure.
Yeah, I remember you and your son watched the heck out of that to the point that you're like getting collectibles and toys and stuff from it. You just dove in. So that's cool. Yeah. All right. Before we get out of the show, I always like to thank our patrons and highlight a new supporter. But before we do, one of the benefits of being a supporter is the opportunity to ask a question that we'll answer right here on the show. And Mo, I see you have a doozy for us.
Oh, yeah. So this patron is actually, it's my wife. Since she actually is a patron, I figured it's okay. So
a little nepotism. Good for you.
It's a little bit of nepotism, but who cares? So here's the question. When I heard this question too, I was like, oh my God, this is a great question. It is. If you could wipe out a memory of a movie you saw just so you could re-experience it again like it was the first time, what movie would that be? And I'm going to add if you pick something like Star Wars, I assume you forget all the rest of the Star Wars movies, so let's just throw that in there just to make you a little caveat. But yeah, I thought this was a really cool one because I came up with several right off the top of my head, but I'm kind of curious what you guys might come up with. So John, do you have anything?
Yeah. For different reasons. I'm probably thinking all the ones you're thinking, all the twist ending ones that are
John's
you can never
rewatch
the same way. I'm not going to say Goonies. I already got my wish with Goonies. It's like I've never seen it before. So I will cheat a little because I have two different reasons. And I'm not going to belabor the point. One, I would love just to re-experience again because I love the film so much is Wreck-It Ralph. To see that for the first time again, I was just so blown away with it. People that don't know, I saw that 12 times in the theater when it was in the theaters. I love that film. Anyway, but for a effect of the movie kind of thing, I would love to reset Fight Club. I loved the twist of Fight Club and where that movie went. Yeah. And it's been so overanalyzed that I can no longer watch it without looking at all the little details that people have pointed out in videos over time. So I'd rather go back and experience it as a pure movie again like I did the first time. So that's my pick, plural, I guess, picks. So
okay. Yeah. I mean, for me, I was thinking along similar lines that there was one I'm like, because the joy of experiencing it, the first time, like something like Star Wars or Close Encounters, something like that. But then I was thinking I was thinking, what is a movie that at the end of it, I went, holy crap.
Yeah.
For me, it'd be Memento.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Because the first time I saw that movie, it was great. And then the ending, I was like, whoa, didn't see that coming. And and the whole movie just flipped its head for me. Like the whole movie just changed from that moment on. So that was a great one. So that's probably one I would pick. How about you, George?
I wish I thought of that.
I've got like 20.
We don't blame you. Cheat away.
Right? Yeah. I mean, obviously movies like Clue would be great for that kind of a exercise because not only would I get to experience that whole wonderful movie again, but all the different endings. That would be nice.
It's a triple.
Alien, I think, would be a fun movie to wipe your memory on because it does define a genre and it also twisted it a little bit because you're led to believe that Tom Skerritt's the main character up until a certain point of that movie. And then you realize, no, it's really Sigourney Weaver. But I think the movie, if I could go back in time and have it just wiped from my memory so I could experience it brand new. And there's so many versions of this film out there. I think it would have to be Blade Runner.
Wow.
It has a very unique place in cinematic history. It definitely, I think, defines cyberpunk. It absolutely twists you up. To this day, people debate the ending of that film. So even with people watching it multiple times, there's still something new to be found. I think if I could see that one for the first time over again and experience in the current climate, that would be awesome.
That's a good one. I mean, it's like one of my favorite all-time movies, but yeah, you're right. I mean, the first time seeing that one, that was like, it just blew my mind, every part of that. So
that's a fun question.
Yeah, that was a great question. So thanks so much for my beautiful wife for that question. So
Mo's got to say it's a great question.
Make sure we collect her dollar.
Well, you guys don't, and you did. So, but again, if anybody out there wants to get their question asked on the show, it's really easy. Just go to GenXGrownUp.com/Patreon. Little as $1 a month. Just give us your question and we'll probably answer it right here on air.
Yeah. Well, but you might have to be married to Mo to get your question picked. We'll have to
get first.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And I do want to thank a new patron who did just what you suggested, Mo. I want to thank Michael B. He headed over to Patreon.com/GenXGrownUp opened up his heart and his wallet to generously support us with a monthly pledge. Michael, we're so grateful that you did. We're so grateful that you find something to enjoy in the content we create that makes you want to support us to make sure we can keep doing what we do and pay the bills and keep motivated and all the things that it takes. So we appreciate you. You're joining a roster of amazing folks that have supported us for years, and we're so grateful to add you to the list. Thank you for your support. That then is going to wrap it up for this edition of the show. Don't worry, though. We will be back in a couple weeks with a new one. But next week is our backtrack. We pick a single nostalgic topic and dig in deep. And I'm going to toss this one to George, who did the bulk of the work for this upcoming backtrack. Yeah. What do we have coming to the fourth listener next week?
Yeah, once a year, we like to go back 40 years to look back at the best number ones from a particular year. This time, it happens to be the 1985 Billboard hits number ones only in this list, ladies and gentlemen. And let me tell you, we had to do a lot of extra work just to get to our standard format of 12 because there's a shit ton of ties in 1985. And we had to do some voting, so you'll definitely want to tune in to see if your favorite number one made our list.
Ooh, sneaky. Yeah. Nice tease, George. Get him in the door. That's the way it's done.
You gotta try,
You are not going to want to miss that one. Until then, I am John. George, thank you so much for being here, man.
Yes, sir.
Mo, I appreciate you.
Always fun, man.
Fourth listener, it's you we all appreciate most of all. We can't wait to talk to you again next time. Bye-bye.
See you guys.
Take care, everybody.
No life, no fun. Don't you know that you're a grown-up?
GenXGrownUp is a member of the Evergreen Podcast family. Learn more at evergreenpodcasts.com.
No more watching shows till sunrise. Unacceptable for grown-ups. Your dinner cannot just be french fries. Basically, life sucks as a grown-up.
Now, this could be comic books or movies or film or movies and film. Same fucking thing. You're not going to want to miss that one. Until then, I'm George. I'm George. Until then, who am I?
George's like, he wishes.
You want to take credit for the backtrack. Okay. Until then, I am John. Fuck, can't talk.